Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I got something nice for you today. Let's rock. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. You know what we do. Let's go. Right Thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment, getting to know yourself from the inside out. Right thinkers, way of life, through mental and spiritual discipline, daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. I'm gonna give you the lessons every day to make that happen. You tune in, and when you get done, you will know thyself. Let's go. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Get you to know you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, they simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. And if you can't, take care of them. That's what I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. Oh, cool. I can awaken them. I'm here. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to Maya be true. Let's get into understanding today. I'm gonna introduce you to Shetaut, aka Right Thinking Philosophy. I call it Right Thinking Philosophy because I took the philosophy and put my spin on it, but it's Shetaut. So let's talk about, and let me introduce you to it from the perspective of you hearing what it is instead of thinking it's what I made up. Okay, let's go. The ancient Egyptians created a vast civilization culture earlier than any other society known in history. You can't make that claim if you can't back it up. Moving on. So, and organize what? A nation that was based on the concepts, here we go, of balance and order. You see me doing this? Maya, that's the philosophy that they lived off. That's what I practiced. That's what I perfected. That's what I teach. Maya as a foundation. Watch this. For the practice of religion. I tell you, I don't do religion. Watch this. But religion and a pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. Religion is supposed to get you to God. We call it nihas. There's no definition in your Google search that tells the definition of that. That's our word. They can't take that one. They took everything else. Like Little Richard, they take everything, but they couldn't take nihas. They can't define it. They don't know what it is. Moving on. The ancient Egyptians began to realize what? That the world is full of wonders. Yes. But also that life is fleeting. You ain't gonna be here but so long. Why? The physical body ain't meant to last for so long. No matter how good care you take of it, it's going to run out and expire. Understand that. But it's what's inside that we're trying to get you to understand. And our ancient Egyptians had that down to a science. Trust me. Remember that word, science. And that watch this, there must be something more to human existence. And it is. Well, if I just died and they just put me in the grave and that's it. No, no, no. We call it the afterlife. The religious people now scare you up with heaven and hell. But it's the same philosophy. You gotta live right, do right in order to get in heaven. If you don't live right, do right, you're going to hell. Tell them, you're going to hell. Your parents ain't teach you about right from wrong, they're going to hell. If their parents didn't teach your grandparents, going to hell. He condemned everybody to hell according to his book that you follow. That's another lesson. We ain't going there. But let me tell you about my philosophical points of view, how we seen the world. And the spiritual leaders of commit, watch this, the priests and the priestess, they were the leaders. Why? They had the knowledge. And they realized what a deeper aspect of the human existence and the existence of a what higher dimension of reality, as well as an intelligent underlying transcendental consciousness as the essence of creation. You think this stuff happened by accident? He's all knowing, all conscious. Why? He planned this way before we even got here. Been getting creation stories since forever. But the idea is he knows everything. Just like in your dream, you control everything in your dream. God controls everything in his world. That's the concept. Hope you can understand it. Moving on. Now, they developed, watch this, listen, a spiritual system, not a belief system, a spiritual system that were designed to what? Allow human beings to understand the nature of this secret being where who is the essence of all creation, which resides in him, in them, us, which we call God. And the ancients didn't have God. They could care less. They called the absolute, the virtual. We had a bunch of names that meant God, which obviously you identify with, but we called it Netter and Netteru. Watch this. They called this spiritual system, you ready? Shetaut Netter. I call it right thing philosophy. I haven't changed a thing. Didn't change none of the philosophy, nothing. I just tweaked it a little bit. Okay, with the storytelling and an allegorical that I use my personal life. As simple as that. That's the difference. So I ain't making nothing up. Moving on. Let's talk right quick. I gave a lesson about who is the Netter of the Kemetic ancient Egyptian religion. We didn't have a face. We didn't have a person for God. We used a stick, okay, a staff, okay? So no graven images come from us. Why? We didn't have none. We created the aspects of God and gave them identity. That's what we call it mythology. We create them and use them to manifest what they represent. It's all about teaching philosophy and concepts. The symbol of the netter was described by the ancient Kemetic priests as that which is what? Placed in the coffin. The term netter or nature comes from the ancient Egyptian hieroglyph language, which did not record most of the vowels, another lesson, but however, the term still survives from the Coptic language as neuter, or in Spanish, everybody got a different word, but it's all based on still nature, netter. We originated that. Y'all took it and made it gods and goddesses and all that nonsense, but we didn't look at it from that aspect. We look at it as a principle aspect that you can learn and follow, mimic what? Because they philosophical concepts that you can create that we did. Here's the film right here. You see the top right there? That's the top. That's the netter. Not a physical person, is it? Okay? But everything under him is in what? Physical form, and they all standing on the pedestal of Maya. Had to get that in. That's my thing. Okay, now let's talk about the netter and the netteru. Netter, singular. One. That's everything comes from the one. Understand that. And netteru is what comes from him. I was one, I became three. From three, it became multiplicity. Understand that it's a concept. So I just saw you a picture of the netteru, the god and goddesses, as we call them now, proceed from what? The netter, aka the supreme being. He ain't in physical form. We call him Amun. That means the hidden one. And when y'all pray, y'all give him praise by saying Amen, as if you're saying, so it be no, it means you praising the hidden God. If you knew that, you'd understand that. Y'all practice a philosophy that y'all just go with whatever they tell you. Don't do no homework, don't do no studying. I do. So let me tell you something right quick. The concept of Netter and Netteru binds and ties what? All the varied forms of the Kemetic spirituality into one vision of what? Gods and goddesses, all emerging from the same supreme being we call the Netter or the Nabercha, we call it the absolute, the all. Okay. This concept, again, this concept, that's all we can go with, has been referred to as henotheism. Henotheism. That's the supreme being. It is all-encompassing absolute divinity while expressing as what? Lesser divinities, y'all call them angels, or okay, that operate in what? Time and space. The physical body is the lowest sphere of the three realms. when you get past, when you go to sleep, you leave your body. Everybody, I like to project astral plane. Yeah, because the mind don't have no boundaries. There's no time limit on the mind. It does what it does. It can go behind or it can go forward, but it don't stay in the body when the body is at rest. It does its own thing. That's called the subconscious. Understand that. So in Kemetic, northeastern Africa, traditional religion with spirituality and a divinity is both transcendental and absolute, as well as temporal and local. Why? They gave each people to have their own representation of their God and sustaining what? The effectiveness of the world directly in the form, you ready? God and goddesses, aka Neteru. Their principles, their concepts, trust me. Now, I want to break it down right quick again, but I'm going to switch over to the Neteru and their interaction or interrelationship. So you know they all come together at one point in time. They're not separate like religion. I'm a Pentecostal. I'm a this. I'm a that. Islam. I'm an Orthodox. I'm Sunni. Separation. Separation. No, ignorance. Let's move on. The term Neteru means what? Gods and goddesses. This means that from the ultimate and the transcendental supreme being, we call him Neter, y'all call him God, comes the Neteru, his offspring, so to speak. And there are what? Countless Neteru. So from the one came what? The many. These Neteru are cosmic forces. You hear that? Cosmic forces for all y'all Star Wars. Luke, use the force. Our ancient ancestors taught him that. Okay, we used it way before they come along. So watch this. Now, and they're actual forces that provide what? The universe. If you can lock into the vibrational consistency of the universe, it will work for you. They knew that a long time ago. And there are, watch this, they are the means by which what? Netter sustains creation and manifests through it. We don't know God, but we can see his work. Nature. Ding, ding, ding. So, Netarianism may be thought of as a form of monotheistic polytheism, meaning one God, but then many after that. Through a more technical religious studies, term to describe it would be Hellenistic religion. Okay, whatever you want to call it. We call it what we called it. Okay. The one supreme being expresses as many gods and goddesses. At the end of time, guess what happens? After all the work is done of sustaining creation, and when it's finished, guess what? God gonna wake up. And these gods and goddesses are again what? Going to be absorbed back into the supreme being. They call that what? The Big Bang when it started. Now it's going to just reverse. The Indians tell you when Krishna opened his eyes, he destroys the world. It's going to start all over again. The cycle. It's all about coming again, coming again. Oh, it's end times. Yeah, for you, it's always end times. For us, once we're born, end times is near. So, okay, understand that. So let's talk about the Neteru and the inner relationships right quick. I got a few more minutes. Let's go. The image below, I just told you, a diagram, and it demonstrates how the divinities of the three major theurgies, religious sciences. Here you go. The science behind religion should be facts that you can prove, not just go with somebody saying and believe it. And they relate what? Related temples and the priests and priestesses who practice it. In ancient Egypt, they are related and originated from the first place Anuian theurgy. Anu means the first place. And that's the study. Now that's the study of the what? Theurgy is the study of interrelationships of the Neteru, aka the gods and goddesses, and the practice of their teachings and experience of what? The evolution, excuse me, elevation that comes from what? The study, and then what? The practice. Studying gives you knowledge. Using and implementing gives you power. And you practice what? And this constitutes what? The practice of the theurgy as well as the practice of that theology, which all we have is theology of the Netarian religion. We follow the concept. You had a choice. Theurgy and religion are not the same thing. Religion is the organized practice of worship. They're going to tell you and direct you who to follow. That's religion. They all do it. Based on what? Dogma and traditions of worship for promoting a spiritual goal. And they're all supposed to get you to God. So why everybody got so many different ones if they're all doing the same thing? Moving on. And eschatology, such as what? Ending up where? In heaven. You see me point out. We got the concept of Newt. That's the ones who's stretching over Gab. Earth is down here, Newt is up there. So when I do that, I got a concept too of up there, heaven. Moving on. Where we at? I don't know if I played that. Okay, where we at? Where we at? Okay, however, that may be what conceived in accordance with the form of what they call theism, okay, of the religion. Monotheism, pantheism. I gave you the whole lesson about the isms, okay? Did that. Henotheism, etc. But theology is what? A science. There you go. A science of religion. Now, a prescribed program for promoting higher consciousness through what? How you promote higher consciousness, a philosophy and disciplines when you carry out, which carried out by the priests and priestesses in accordance with the prescribed and the precise program. Religion is a metaphysics designed to what? Lead an aspirant, those who follow it, I'll call you right thinkers, to what? The goal is to have an experience of the higher consciousness. The three levels I told you about religion, the myth, the ritual, and then the experience. A lot of y'all get stuck on the myth and the ritual, going to church and knowing the stories, but you ain't living right, so you don't have the experience. That's the difference. Like a master mason, you get 2 degrees and think you're a mason. No, you're not. Okay, you gonna want to tell everybody you did. You're really not. Fakers. Moving on. But in the case of ancient Egyptian religion, we have a program is dedicated towards what? You're listening. The attainment of nihas. We have a plan, or we call spiritual awakening or spiritual enlightenment, which is more common to everybody right now. A mystic experience. That's what all religions' goal is, to get you to experience. That's the problem. Right, thinkers? My goal is to get you to have that. I know how to do that. All you got to do is put the work in. Let's go. Again, I do what I do is for you. So, however, you got a theurgy, excuse me, well, I missed the whole line. Theurgy say, okay, now you're doing the Anuian, we're doing the Anuian theory, that's what we're doing right now. And you studying the Anuian theology. Okay, what they believe for, I'm going to bring that down for you too. And Theban theurgy is the Theban theology, if you're going to study it. However, the theology of ancient Egypt, as well as any theology or other mystical traditions, is best what studied under a author, authentic teacher, or within the contents of mysticism, as opposed to within a purely theological context, meaning just from a book. You can't learn from just reading it. You have to implement it. That's manifestation. So that's how I know it's the truth. Why? I practice it. I use it. I live by it. That's how. So the same supreme being, Netter, is the winged, all-encompassing, transcendental divinity that they show. Okay, it's just the wings and the disc, and you have 2 circles on each side to protect them. Sometimes just one in the front. Okay, but the spirit who what? Who in the early history we called, you ready? Haru. That's the spirit that's in you. That's God. Y'all going to Christ. Okay, whatever. But the physical universe in which what? Haru lives is called, you ready? Het Haru. God lives in his own house. We are his children. This is how he lives within us. So Haru is him in the flesh. That's us. Or the house of Haru. Again, the spirit. This divinity, Haru, in the aspect of, you had one Nefertim, you had who that Ptah, Sekhmet, and their son was Nefertim. Okay, the beautiful one, the pure one. Okay, that's another form of Haru. And watch this. And also you have the Noon, or the primeval substratum, from which what? All matter is composed. We talked about that. But you got the various divinities, and you got the material universe, or aspects of what? The androgyny. The spirit ain't male or female, but in order for him to create us, he had to be male to plant the seed, female to receive it, and from one, he became 3. Take that lesson a long time ago. But right here, you got what? The Noon gives rise. Watch this. However, excuse me, the androgynous aspect of the Noon, it ain't male or female, it's just there. Okay? It gives rise to what? The solar principle, and both male Haru and female Het Haru divinities. That's the concept. The Netarian traditions are composed of what? Companies of gods or goddesses. Their actions again, teachings and interactions with what each other and with human beings will provide insight where into their nature as well as that of human existence and creation itself. Hence, know thyself, study, perform, understand, and you will gain what? Self-knowledge. You can go to every academic you want and get scholarly knowledge. It won't mean nothing in the end if you don't have knowledge of self. So I'm gonna end this lesson on that note. I don't want to take it too long. Hope you got something out of it. Because guess what? I'm coming right back. I'm not done. I got more for you. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Be 100 minus a day. So I never know my right thinkers have passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back.